Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name's Anayo. Excuse my background. The lighting is like I use natural light to film, and so I am beholden to where the sun is at. And right now, she over there. So y'all just seeing my whole apartment. But yeah, so today we're starting a new column, Ask Anayo. And I get so many questions about traveling and how I travel and just general questions like, girl, my man wants to go on this trip, but he don't want to pay for me and I can't afford it. Like, should I still go? We gonna talk about the real questions, okay? The questions around travel that, we have, but you might not know where to ask. You can ask me. So if you guys have any travel questions, anything ranging from relationships when it comes to travel, destinations, how to plan it, friendship travel questions, anything like that, I'm game, send them my way. And so today we're going to kick this off. Because I just started the series, no one has sent me any questions yet. So I found a question though I saw online and I thought it was a great first one to start with. So let's start with this question and let's all, if you have thoughts, leave them in the comments below and we can all help Homegirl out. So I have the question here. Ladies, I need some romantic advice that is highly influenced by travel. I am an avid traveler who has done a lot of solo travel, but always dreamt of the opportunity to travel with a significant other. I got involved with a guy 5 months ago and I've really fallen for him, but he just revealed to me last week that his immigration status, parentheses, he can legally stay in but not leave the US, end parentheses, would keep him from traveling internationally with me until we were to get married. This really changes the vision I had for our relationship. As I have family, I visit frequently abroad and just love to travel abroad versus domestically. He tried to comfort me saying we could go together inside the US, but I just feel really disappointed now. I know it will really hurt him if I can't be with him because of this, but I also don't like the idea of being confined to the US or having to always solo travel abroad with a partner at home. Advice. Oof. Okay. Like I said, y'all, this is a collective. We're all being big sisters. So, based on the question, let me know below how you would respond to your homegirl if she asked you this. Now, it's a two-prong answer from me. One, it sounds like travel is really, really, really important to you. Okay. It's so important that it's basically a deal breaker. It sounds like you don't want to compromise on it. You have a vision that you don't want to travel alone. You want to travel with a partner. You want someone who can travel with you. And that's an okay deal breaker. We all have dating things in dating that we don't want to compromise on. And it sounds like you want someone who is not only passport ready, but is able to go with you on the various international trips that you would like to go on. And I just want to pause there because it's okay that you have that deal breaker. I feel like a lot of people might be like, well, a lot of people can't travel, so why would you make that a deal breaker? But it's kind of the same thing of like having the deal breaker of someone who's financially stable, right? You want someone who's financially stable. Not everyone is financially stable, but you want someone who's financially stable because you have a certain vision for your life. And if they're not financially stable, it's not going to work out. Same thing with travel. If you have someone who isn't able to immediately drop everything and go with you internationally, you want someone who is adventurous, who's curious about the world, and who's able to make that happen. Now, I will say, this guy doesn't sound like he's not that. He just sounds like someone who, because of his immigration status, isn't currently able to do that. But if it works out between y'all, it looks like he's down. He's already saying, hey, we could go around the US. A lot of dudes ain't even trying to go, a lot of dudes ain't trying to leave Dallas to go over to Atlanta. if he's already showing that he's down to do that, when he does get his immigration papers and everything together, I feel like he would do that with you. Now, if you're sitting here like, you know what, I really cannot see my future partner not being able to travel internationally with me, even if it's for a year, even if it's for 2 years. I don't know how long it takes. But if you're someone who's like, it is genuinely a deal breaker for me that he is not able to do that with me right now, then yeah, girl, it don't matter if he's, it's been 5 months and it's been popping the whole time. If that is his fatal flaw for you, then unfortunately, you're never going to get over it. And you have to stay true to yourself and have self respect and say, this is a deal breaker for me and I'm not going to be able to continue. It's going to be unfortunate, but you have to honor yourself. Don't think about anyone else. I know, like I said, some people might be like, girl, just because he can't travel, if traveling is a huge part of me and traveling is what makes me happy and international travel is what gets me going and I want my partner to be able to do that with me, then yeah, girl, that's a deal breaker. That's a deal breaker. Especially as Black women, I feel like a lot of the times, because we are fed this narrative that we don't deserve love and that it's really hard for us to find love, a lot of us end up compromising what we want and what we deserve in a relationship because we feel like we're never going to find this again. We're never going to find something this good again. So let me compromise and change what I want so that I can keep this person. But if this is a deal breaker for you, I encourage you, I implore you to not do that because it's only going to lead to resentment, not only for your partner down the line, but for yourself. On the other side of it, let's say you're like, yeah, it would be ideal. However, I can make it work. I'm patient. I can make it work if he's not able to do that. Then we're going somewhere. Then this gets a little bit more interesting. What I would say if that's the case, if you are able to say, hey, it's not ideal, but I would rather stay with this person and see where it goes versus throwing it away because of this one thing, then girl, there are so many compromises. There are so many compromises to be made here, okay? I know you have this vision of traveling with Bay and vacation, international vacations, but unfortunately, he's not able to do that right now. So you're going to have to continue going solo for a while until he's able to do that, which it sounds like he is. So if you can be a little patient, you're going to have to continue solo traveling, which is what you've been doing anyway and haven't had an issue with. The first thing you have to do is ask him, like, okay, well, I'm really enjoying our time together and I would love to continue this relationship. However, traveling is really important to me. How do you feel about me taking trips solo while, until we figure out your immigration status? His response to that is going to tell you a lot. You'd be surprised. Not a lot of guys are okay with their woman traveling and going without them. A lot of guys aren't okay with that. It's like, why would you go without me? You know what I'm saying? Like, or maybe there's a trust issue and it's like, well, if you're going to go solo, like, what are you going to be doing out there? Who you going to be talking to? Who you going to, like, what? Like, it's like a trust issue thing. Hey guys, it's editing Anayo from the future. I also wanted to include here that safety is another reason that a guy might tell you that he doesn't want you to travel without him. It's a valid reason, very valid. I just didn't include it because I feel like it's not enough of a reason for someone to tell you not to go somewhere. That's them maybe projecting their fears onto you. However, it is a valid reason and could be something that comes up. I'll give an example for myself. I had an ex and it wasn't a good relationship. And he couldn't afford to travel. like I was able to afford to travel. And at that time, this was years ago. At that time, I wasn't making that much money. I couldn't even afford to travel like that. But I was able to like save my money and plan and go on the trips I wanted to go on that fit within my budget at the time. And so we went on a trip to Mexico, him and I funded it because he didn't have the money, but I really wanted him to go. And he said he would pay me back.
And of course, he never did.
And later on in the year, I wanted to go on another trip, but I knew he wasn't going to be able to afford it because his job status hadn't changed from the last trip. His money status hadn't changed from the last trip. So I knew he wasn't going to be able to go. So I brought it up to him like, hey, I want to go on this trip. I think it was actually a birthday trip, like my birthday trip that I wanted to go on. And I was like, I want to go by myself. Like, how do you feel about like me going on solo trips? I just asked him out of respect. In all honesty, it's yo money, sis. I feel like you don't have to ask permission to use your money how you want. If you want to go on a trip, you don't have to ask. But just out of respect, sure, I asked. This man was pissed. Okay, this man was pissed. He was like, why would you want to go on a trip without me? Like who has a man and will want to travel without their man? Like who wants to do that? And then he started calling me weird and then he like progressively got more and more upset as he thought about it more. He was like, I can't believe you even brought that up to me. It was just like a whole thing. And like, child, when I tell you that relationship was very toxic. But anyway, say all that to say, if his response is anything less than, damn, I would love to go with you on those trips, but I don't want to hold you back from going. So do you I have no problem with you going on the trip. If his response is anything less than that, because I feel like that's the worst response you can get. I feel like the worst response you can get is, damn, I wish I could go, but I can't. So have fun. That's the worst response in my mind. If a man said anything worse than that, that tells me that this person might have an insecurity that needs to be explored. We need to talk about it. He might have like some sort of territorial thing going on. He might have some sort of manipulation thing going on. There might be some things going on that will tell me, oh, wait a minute. Why wouldn't you want me to go? Why are you holding me back? Essentially, why are you holding me back? I get, the FOMO of not being able to go with you. Like I said, I can understand that. Anything other than that, I don't understand it. If he responds with my worst possible response, then girl, you just gonna have to go solo. You just gonna have to keep going solo. Do not hold yourself back. Do not change anything about how you're moving because travel is really important to you. And I know this relationship is really important to you, but you can't change who you are just because you're in a relationship. Or alternatively, you can say, hey, actually, like, I know I originally said international or nada, but I'm actually okay with going domestically around with you because I want to travel with a bae. And girl, you could have so much fun domestically with a partner. Y'all can choose states that you've both never been to. And there's some cities and states in the US that almost feel like you're in another country. If you've never been to New Orleans can be a place whose culture is so different and so unique, and you can make it a whole thing and it feels like you went abroad. New York, the same thing. Texas, Utah, there's places that just in the US that have very unique features and things about them that I know you feel like, hey, I'm not really traveling unless I'm traveling internationally, and that's what really makes me happy. But you could really have those same experiences, if not better, domestically as well. That's my answer. What do y'all think? How are we helping sis? She met a good man, Savannah. She met a good man. It's going really well. It's been 5 months. 5 months is still new, where if option one, it's a deal breaker, you're going to be all right, girl. You gonna be all right. No, what would y'all tell sis? Let me know in the comments. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.